Salam alaikum. Bonjour. Good afternoon. Excellency Minister, Excellency Her Majesty Ambassador, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, dear all, I am Bokar Al-Faba, the country manager of Invest in Africa in Mauritania. And I'm most pleased and honored to welcome you to this innovative multilingual webinar available in English, the main room, as well as in Arabic and French in secondary rooms. Just as Mauritania was one of the first countries to sign up to the African Free Trade Agreement, AFCTA, today we are creating another first, as Invest in Africa joins with the Mauritanian British Business Council, MBBC, in collaboration with leading bodies as the Minister of Petrol, Energy and Mines, His Excellency Ministry Abdesselam Mohamed Saleh, the President of Union Nationale du Patronat Mauritania, Mr. Mohamed El Abedin Sheikh Ahmed, and the Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture of Mauritania. Unfortunately, the President of this body, CCEAAM, was unable to attend. CCEAM was unable to attend. Invest in Africa is a leading local content and capacity building not-for-profit organization working across many African countries. We work hard to support small and medium-sized local business SMEs into industry by working with key stakeholders, namely industry, government, and donors to help coordinate efforts towards increasing local participation. Demonstrating factually how local buying power can be a force for good to contribute to the country's wider growth plans. Success for us, it's about creating sustainable local business that can diversify and create jobs. But none of this is possible without the funding from industry and leadership from policymakers. So we are proud to be the junior delivery partner to the Minister of Petrol, Energy and Mines, as well as distinguished institutions like UNPM and CCEAM presenting on today's webinar. Today, IIA has a growing link of a leading MNC and IOCs in Mauritania, as well as very promising high potential Mauritanian SMEs. We are very excited by the potential we see ahead for Mauritania and look forward to working with all of you to grow investment into Mauritania and its people, including youth, women, in a sustainable, engaging manner, captured in numerous SDGs. Again, many thanks for joining us. You are more than 450 registered, and you are so many in the audience. We wanted to thank you, and we may have time at the end for a question and answer session, a Q&A session. Kindly feel free to suggest questions in the chat box. We cannot make any promises. We are sorry for that, to answer to all the questions, but we'll do our best to take the most. Excuse us in advance to choose some. We'll have now, after my introduction, the MBBC representative, Matthew Anderson, who will say a few words, followed by Her Majesty Ambassador accredited in Mauritania, His Excellency Mr. Simon Boyden. Then the President of the UNPM, Mr. Mohamed El Abedin Sheikh Ahmed, will speak. Right after those speakers, we're going to have our keynote speaker, His Excellency, the Minister of Petrol, Energy and Mines of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Ministry Abdesselam Mohamed Saleh, that we very much thanks for joining us. Again, many thanks for your attention. Looking forward to welcoming you in Mauritania and wishing you the best success and good health in these pandemic times we are living on. Please go to investinafrica.com and soon to APP Mauritania Register with us and find out more about our program and future Mauritania events and webinars. Thanks, Jans. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, thank you. Thanks, Bokar. A great pleasure to be here. Excellencies, ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's a great pleasure to address you and to be working together with MBBC member Invest in Africa, with whom we have a very good relationship. Just a quick word about the MBBC. We've been in operation for about 4 years now, working as a bilateral trade association, business council, promoting networking, knowledge and business development between our two countries. Myself, I've been involved with Mauritania for about 6 years now, so we are getting to know a lot of people here, and it's great to see some familiar faces in the list and indeed as panelists as well. As I mentioned, MBBC was launched about 4 years ago. Our guest of honour at the time was the former Minister of Petroleum, Energy and Mines, so we have a strong link with this ministry, and indeed it's one of the driving forces behind Mauritanian-British trade. Within MBBC, we are pleased to have companies like BP and Shell as members, and of course the supply chains that they work with. MBBC is here in order to promote trade between the two nations. We do this at the moment, unfortunately, online with webinars. We do it as well in person, normally in non-pandemic times in London. We have various regular visits to Nouakchott, and indeed, pandemic allowing, we will be bringing a trade mission in October, multi-sector, which we are really fingers crossed that this will go ahead. I really, just to conclude from me, if you're interested in the Mauritanian Britain Business Council, which I hope you are, you can follow us on our LinkedIn page, our brand new Facebook page. We're on Twitter as well, or you can visit our website, mbbc.uk. So I think that's enough from me for the moment, and we shall hear now from our distinguished panelists. Thank you, Bokar.
I'm pleased now to ask Mr. Zainal Abidine to say some words. Sorry, Mr. Simon Biden, the UK ambassador. Can you please go ahead?
Thank you, Bokar. And I will be brief because obviously the people joining this call have not joined it to listen to me, but to the Minister and others. But first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to take part. I'm delighted and honoured that His Excellency the Minister is prepared to share his thoughts and aspirations for the industry and for investment and economic development in Mauritania with such a large audience. And after a year of frustration, it's fantastic that you, IIA, and your partners have managed to generate such interest in the opportunities or the opportunity today to learn more about Mauritania's strategy, not only for the energy sector, but for economic development more widely. Obviously, a lot of attention being paid at the moment to hydrocarbons developments, but of course, there's an awful lot of potential and indeed ongoing activity in the renewable sector as well. And as an ambassador of this year's host country for the COP26 climate conference or climate summit in Glasgow in November, we're very keen to ensure that we are continuing to pursue opportunities for sustainable development, not only in the energy sector, but across the economy. Invest in Africa is a fantastic vehicle to support exchange and development as a not-for-profit platform, and with the active support of major players in the hydrocarbons industry and others, along with the support of the MBBC and the patronat and the chambers. We're really excited about the opportunities that this partnership can create. Some of you will have witnessed back in September last year the launch of the presidential economic recovery plan in Mauritania, and I spoke at that launch about the importance of creating an environment which was favourable to investment, and not just to foreign investment, but actually that facilitated and encouraged and promoted investment by Mauritanian companies and partners as well. And in every area of economic activity, it's the partnerships that we can create across the economy that will, I think, help drive development and mutual prosperity. So thank you all for dialing in today, for joining this discussion, and look forward as the British Ambassador to working with you through my team here in Nouakchott and through the support of the UK government more broadly to take advantage of and take forward those opportunities. Thank you very much. Over to you, Bakar.
Thanks, Simon, for your invaluable support for all this year and for the years to come also from wherever you're going to be. Claude Lamotte, please up to you for Mr. Zain Al Abidine to say some words.
يشرفني أن أشارك معكم فعاليات هذا المؤتمر المنعقد تحت عنوان فرص العمل في الصناعات الاستخراجية من أجل اقتصاد مزدهر بمشاركة واسعة من طرف الفاعلين الحكوميين والاقتصاديين، وأن نستعرض معا فرص النمو الشامل والمشترك بين القطاعات والمستدام في الصناعات الاستخراجية. ومن شأن هذا اللقاء أن يمثل منصة لربط التواصل بين الشركات المحلية والمتعاونين في مجال النفط والغاز، وما يتيحه من تبادل وتشاور حول آليات التعاطي الأنجح في الاستحقاقات الاقتصادية ذات الانعكاسات النوعية على التنمية الاقتصادية والاجتماعية ببلادنا. تتوفر موريتانيا على خيارات كبيرة بحاجة إلى استغلال وبيئة استثمارية واعدة ووضعية أمن واستقرار مشجعة وسياقا اقتصاديا محفزا للاستثمار يميزه الأمن والاستقرار وتعززه الإمكانيات الاقتصادية الكبيرة وفرص الاستثمار الواعدة، مما أهل موريتانيا لتصبح وجهة مفضلة للاستثمارات الدولية وقبلة لكبرى الشركات العالمية في مجالات الطاقة والمعادن، فضلا عن وجود إطار قانوني ومؤسسي مشجع على تنمية النشاطات الاستثمارية في مختلف القطاعات، وهو الإطار الذي توجه تأسيس المجلس الأعلى للاستثمار الذي أعلن عنه فخامة الرئيس الجمهورية السيد محمد والشيخ الغزواني، وهو المجلس الذي يعهد إليه بتحسين جاذبية الاستثمار المحلية والأجنبية والتعاطي مع مختلف انشغالات القطاع الخاص. وكل هذه المستجدات يتعين أن يواكبها القطاع الخاص بالانفتاح على شركات القطاع المتخصصة في مجال الطاقة وتعبئة طاقات الإنجاح، عملها المشترك والتكيف مع مستجدات الاستكشافات والحرص على نوعية تنفيذ العروض بأبعادها. لقد شارك الاتحاد الوطني لأرباب العمل في مؤتمر هيوستن الدولي للتكنولوجيا، وهو اليوم الموريتاني للبترول والغاز في خدمة الاقتصاد الوطني المنظم من طرف وزارة النفط والطاقة والمعادن الموريتانية، الهادف لتطوير تنمية القطاع الموريتاني الجديد المتخصص في البترول والغاز والربط المباشر بين الشركات النفط والغاز ومقاوليهم، خاصة المتعهدون المباشرون لمشروع السلحفاة الكبير حميم مع الفاعلين والمشغلين الوطنيين. وعلى المستوى العملي بدأت الشركات الوطنية بشكل استباقي الاستثمارات في الموارد البشرية واللوجستية الكثيرة بمواكبة التطورات الحاصلة في مجال الغاز والنفط، وتجلي ذلك في التكوين والتمهين ودعم الخبرات وتعامل عدد من الشركات الوطنية في إنجاز بواكر أعمال التهيئة عبر تأمين نقل الحجارة المستخدمة من مشروع حميم. وفي مجال السلامة التي تشكل عنصرا محوريا في ظروف العمل، بدأت الشركات الموريتانية في تطبيق إجراءات السلامة الكاملة. وإن رؤيتنا في الاتحاد الوطني لأرباب العمل الموريتانيين تقوم وفق رؤية شاملة غايتها تشجيع وتطوير وتيسير سبل الاستثمار للشركات العاملة في المجال الطاقة من جهة، وتأمين توطين الخدمات الصناعات في مجال الطاقة بهدف تعزيز قاعدة مؤسسات القطاع الخاص. نعتقد أنه ينبغي العمل على تعزيز التعاون بين الموردين والشركات في قطاع الطاقة، لكون الموردين جزءا لا يتجزأ من قطاع الطاقة ولهم مساهمتهم الكبيرة في ازدهار الاقتصاد، على أن يشمل ذلك إشراك القطاع الخاص بشكل منتظم من خلال عقد المنتديات التي توفر منصة لشركات قطاع الطاقة ومورديه من أجل التأسيس لعلاقات تعاونية، إدخال التحسينات المنتظمة على سياسات ومعايير إجراءات الشراء والتعاقد لدى الشركات القطاع الخاص. إطلاق برامج استراتيجية تهدف لإيجاد فرص استثمارية محلية في قطاع الطاقة، وضع برنامج شامل لا يقتصر فقط على توفير فرص استثمارية جديدة وإنما يعمل أيضا على تحفيز المستثمرين، تقديم الدعم لتطوير الموردين بما في ذلك المساعدة في التطوير الفني، تطوير المشاريع المحلية الصغيرة والمتوسطة ورواد الأعمال وأصحاب المشاريع للاستفادة من الفرص الاستثمارية، العمل على توطين العديد من الصناعات اللازمة والمساندة صناعات الطاقة والصناعات المشتقة منها، الحفاظ على القيمة الاقتصادية داخل البلاد ومن خلال مكافأة الموردين. ومن جهتنا في الاتحاد الوطني لأرباب العمل سنعمل بتنسيق تام مع السلطات العمومية والشركاء العاملين من أجل تحقيق هذا الهدف المشترك بما يكفل تبادل التجارب وتوطين الخبرات وتعزيز الاستثمار في قطاع الغاز واستفادة الجميع مستثمرين موردين وفق مقاربة شاملة تضمن الاستدامة والنجاعة واكتشاف فرص الدخول في أحدث المشاريع المتعلقة بالاكتشاف والإنتاج النفطي البحري.
It is for me an immense pleasure to participate with you in the activities of this Congress that is organized under the title Employment Opportunities in the Extractive Industry for a Prosperous Economy with the wide participation of government and economic actors, and to best review together the opportunities for global and shared grounds between sector and sustainable industries. This meeting is likely to represent a platform to strengthen the relation between local societies and in the field of oil and gas in all that is creates exchange and constellations of the mechanism of with this economic whose qualitative repercussions on economic and social development for our countries. Ladies and gentlemen, Mauritania is full of great wealth that need to be exploited, and promoting investment environment and encouraging security and stability situation and incentive economic context of the investment characterized by security and the security, stability and strength by constant economic potentialities and promising investment opportunities that allow Mauritania to become a privileged destination for international investment and global companies working in the areas of energy and mines. In addition to the existence of an encouraging legal and institutional framework for the development of investment activity that has been proclaimed and has been prelude to the creation of the High Council of Investment, which has proclaimed by its Excellency the President of the Republic, Mr. Mohamed Sheikh Al-Qazwani, a council that is responsible for improving the attractiveness of local and foreign investment and to take care of the different concerns of the private sector. All these innovations must be accompanied by the private sector through the opening of societies in this sector that are specialized in the field of energy and to mobilize its strengths to succeed their joint actions and to adopt the novelties in matter of exploration and works to the quality of offers in their financial and training dimensions. In return, companies are held in this context to transact with companies operating in the field and to strengthen domestication of wealth and potentialities. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Union of Mauritanian Employees participate in the International Congress on Maritime Technology of Houston. This day in the Mauritanian oil and gas at the service of national economy organized by the Mauritanian Ministry of Petroleum, Energy and Mines and which aim to develop the new Mauritanian sector specialization in oil and gas to create a direct link between oil and gas companies and in-laws companies, in particular those in large cartel Ahmeyim project, as well as national actors and employees to explore partnership opportunities. It also works for the acceleration of linking partnership in the local level and promote the national private sector to enable it to access and participate actively in current and future oil and gas projects. The organization of this initiative comes as part of the sector's strategy aiming at promoting local content policy, which will allow the creation of training structures and mechanisms and the transfers of skills, the exchange of expertise and the promotion areas of expertise. At the global level, Mauritanian national companies has initiated investment in human and logistical resource able to accompany developments in the field of gas and oil, and thereon training and professionalizing and support to the expertise. Most of these national societies operate in the realization of works through the transport of stones used in the Ahmeyim project. In the field of security that constitute an actual layman in working conditions, Mauritanian companies has begun to apply global safety procedure in the work and provide all the appropriate procedures that guarantees security by applying for the application of their conventions in the field of security and compliance with the application of the related regulations. We count valorizing and the promotion of the national private sector represented by the National Union of the Mauritanian Employees as representatives of the economic and unique partner of the states and representative of the private sectors with the state through the implementation of the useful partnerships and the promotion of real local content that is the service of national and private sectors companies. Ladies and gentlemen, we all together in this area, we feel responsibility in the guarantee of its success that will only be able to see the mutualization of the effort of all by the conscientiousness of the complementary of the roles of public authorities and societies from the private sectors, which will result in an optimal investment in state natural resource and increased performance and improvement of skills expansion and development. We also rely on gas company to guide national societies to comply with their obligation to operating companies in oil and gas, as well as towards improving their skills to accompany this rebound in that requires specializing professionalism. On our side, we will work to guide national societies to respect their never commitment operating companies and gas in the improvement of their skills as required as specialization, professionalism. Ladies and gentlemen, our vision within the National Union of Mauritanian Employees is based on a global vision whose objective in the promotion, development, and management of the ways and means of investment in favor of companies operating in the field of energy. On the one hand, the guarantee of the domestication of the service and industries in the field of energy to strengthen the institutions of the private sector and the guarantee of the effective accompaniment of this change. The National Union of Mauritanian Employees will also work with partner in government institutions and companies concerned to facilitate the provision of the requirements of relay through the advocacy for the process of policy development, laws and appropriate incentives for attract local and international societies and guarantee the domestication of their operation in Mauritania. We will undertake coordination with several other parties to contribute on the support of the development of new industry in the energy sector to enable them to increase their competitive capacity and financial sustainability. We believe that it is necessary to promote cooperation relations between suppliers and energy companies, because suppliers are an integral part of the health sector. These innovations must be accompanied by the private sector through the opening of societies in this sector that are specialized in the field of energy and to mobilize its strengths to success their joint action and to adapt novelties in matter of exploration and work to the quality of offer in their financial and training dimensions. Integrate regular improvement to policy standards and procedure for purchasing and contracting with energy sector companies. Number 2, launch strategic program aimed at finding local investment opportunities in energy sector. Number 3, establish a global program that does not only reduce the provision of new investment opportunities, but much more to work and encourage investors. Number 4, provide support to develop providers in technical and investment assistance and support in the development of skills. 6, develop a small, medium, local project leaders and project to take advantage of investment opportunities. 7, overall to the domestication of several necessary industries and provide assistance to their energetic industries and extractive industry that flow from it. 8, preserve the economic value within the countries through the reward and supply and entrepreneurs who perform their contracts through the increase of local content. 9 of 10, create new investment opportunities in the energy sector. And at the last point is to increase and incentives that guarantee the provision of support as part of the vast program of supply development and the creation of a partnership environment in the process of providing the sector and the creation of high quality job opportunities in the private sector. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Mr. Zain El Abidine. Thanks again, Mr. Simon Boyden, the ambassador. And we're gonna now leave the floor to dear Excellency, dear Minister of the Republic of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. We are all ears to hear what you have to say, and we are excited and enjoyed about it. Thanks again for making yourself available for this webinar, the first of Invest Africa and MBBC in Mauritania. Thanks again, sir.
His Excellency Simon Boyden, Ambassador of the United Kingdom to Mauritania, Zain El Abidine Sheikh Ahmed, President of Petroleum of Mauritania, representative of the Invest Africa, the representative of the MBBC, representative of private sector, companies, banks. Thank you all for joining, ladies and gentlemen. It's really my great pleasure to be with you today and to participate in these discussions about investment opportunities in the extractive industries in Mauritania. Mauritania is an Arab and African country that sits between Maghreb and Maghreb countries on the north and Senegal on the south and Mali on the east, and has a coast of 750 kilometers on the Atlantic. It's a land of meeting of civilization, African and Arab civilization over hundreds of years. It has fertilized and has influenced development of Islamic civilization in the African continent. Mauritania is a stable, democratic country, a presidential system. The current president, Mr. Mohamed was elected in 2019 in July for a mandate of 5 years. The president's vision, as highlighted in his electoral manifesto, emphasizes the importance of economic growth, of shared prosperity, of social cohesion as a driver of development, but also as a key underpinning for peace, and also stresses the importance of private sector engagement and the partnership of the public and private sector. In my talk today, I will talk quickly about the investment potential in Mauritania in the extractive industry. I will touch on the education system, on infrastructure, on the business climate, and then a few words of conclusion. First, on investment potential, Mauritania is endowed with natural resources, large natural resources for mining, oil, gas, wind, fisheries, and agricultural resources. The entire country benefits from a climate of security despite some worrying security situations in the Sahel region, but which have so far spared the country. The country has an advantageous strategic position, offering opportunities to access regional and international markets easily. The government of Mauritania is working to enhance the infrastructure to support growth and to significantly improve the living condition of the population as strategic goal. Today, the country offers to the international and national private operators opportunities in all economic sectors, particularly in the extractive industries. The Mauritanian continental and maritime acreage is still considered to be underexplored. It's characterized by a great geological diversity, which consists enormous extractive resources with high exploitation potential. The mining sector was historically and still representing a major contributor to the state budget, but the potential is yet to be fully explored and developed. As a matter of fact, the country has more than 1,000 mining showing, with a diversity of resources ranging from 2 billion tons of reserve iron ore to 25 million ounces of gold, important resources of copper, phosphorus, and precious minerals. The investment opportunities in the mining sector are several and benefit from the great support of the government, which aim to enhance the diversification of domestic production of mines and develop mining pools to allow stronger competitiveness. With regard to oil and gas, Mauritania has world-class gas reserves, including the Grand Tortue Ahmeyim gas field shared with neighboring Senegal and currently under development by BP, British Petroleum, and Cosmos. And also with Birala field, which is more important in terms of reserves and as well as other small discoveries like the field of Banda, Walata, and Pelika. The undergoing exploration by major companies like ExxonMobil, Shell, and Total is very promoting for our country. In fact, Mauritania is the only African country which hosts the 4 majors: British Petroleum, Exxon, Shell, and Total. Driven by the momentum to promote private initiatives, the state opened up the extractive sector to private investors, and in fact, thanks to the business climate, both the national and international investors are today present in the sector. As you all know, the resources, our extractive resources being non-renewable strategies implemented must emphasize the importance, must include a dimension related to the local content so that the impacts are long-lasting. And this is a strategy that the government of Mauritania has been following and will further develop, and we are counting, of course, with the partnership with Invest Africa and MBBC. The country education system has developed over the last years remarkably. In fact, while we had the lowest rate of enrollment at the moment of the independence, today Mauritania ranks among the leading African countries when it comes to education, primary enrollment in primary education. Big efforts are also being done on the professional training as well as on secondary and superior education. Recently, the creation of polytechnical school, professional training centers, financing of more country has supported the creation of the polytechnical school, which is in fact a world-class secondary school, as well as some professional training centers as financed scholarship for more than dozens of engineers in international schools in petroleum and in mining and other specialties. Our partnership and the partnership between the ministry and other stakeholders, including the Union of Employers, where the President is with us today, the Chamber of Commerce and Investment Africa, will further promote private investment and support the training and the education in the areas of gas, oil, and mining. On the infrastructure side, it's important to note that enormous work has been done over the last few years, although the country was among the lowest endowed countries when it comes to infrastructure as independence. Today, it has one of the largest road networks in the African countries, and it has also several airports in major cities of the country, including 2 international airports. A port network including through ports, which are among the most important infrastructure in the sub-region and which play a preponderant role in international trade. That benefits both Mauritania and the neighboring countries, including Mali as well. Regarding the energy sector, the main objective is to provide our citizens and the industry of our country with reliable, affordable energy supply with as much as possible low carbon print. We are developing the potential synergies between the mining sector and the energy sector, relying on the prospect for the production of gas for power using the gas of Sorti and other fields, and development of renewable resources thanks to the availability of wind in the northern part of the country, but also of the solar energy. Our strategic objective is to double the access to electricity by 2030 and to increase the share of renewable energies in the energy mix to at least 50%. On the climate business, Mauritania has initiated deep reforms aimed to improve its business climate by setting flexible and attractive legal framework, including an investment code, mining code, hydrocarbon codes. The review of the energy code is also ongoing to take into consideration the new vision of the government and to make sure that this code allows better participation of private sector in the development of the energy sector. Institutional reorganization is also ongoing. The private sector is, of course, part of all these reforms and be taken into account as the reform progress. It's important here to mention also that the government has made strong progress on the transparency and good governance. Mauritania had adhered to the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, which has granted Mauritania since 2012 a status of a country in agreement with the rules of the Transparency Initiative. Mauritania has also ratified international conventions and multilateral agreements aimed at free trade and protection of private investment. To encourage investment in the extractive sector, Mauritania has instituted a tax regime reserved for companies, external companies providing services on behalf of companies operating in the upstream hydrocarbon sector. As such, they benefit from custom and tariff facilities, social, fiscal, and financial incentives, and exemption from double taxation for countries with which such conventions exist. National legislation will offer strong incentive for foreign investors and does not provide restrictions based on the origin of the investment. It also assures legal equality between all investors without any distinctions of nationality. And likewise, the protection of persons and property is recognized and part. We firmly believe that private foreign direct investment is a key factor in accelerating economic growth and in helping us achieve the sustainable development goals. We would like to welcome investors from the UK and from around the world to come to Mauritania to explore and to support and explore and benefit from the massive opportunities in the oil, gas and mining sector. We are committed to support that partnership with the foreign direct investment. We believe that it is the way that Mauritania can pursue to accelerate economic growth and achieve its development goals. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish all of us a good meeting today. Thank you.
Sir, allow me to thank you again for your very brilliant speech, very clear. We do understand that Mauritania is committed toward extractive industry. Mauritania is well aware that the importance of foreign investors, and Mauritania is a good country to invest and to make businesses. So it's very clear. I may just ask a few moments to raise some questions, and then I'm gonna be the porte-parole and raise some issues to you. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes as a question and answer Q&A session. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm just reading the chat box. There's a point about GTA and the importance of GTA and the oil, the first gas, and about the delay of the project eventually. Can you please enlighten us on this issue, please?
As you know, COVID has impacted, as you know, all the projects, oil projects in the world and in Africa, of course, and in Mauritania. The delay in the project is the project has been delayed by 1 year, which we believe is a reasonable delay, sensible delay, considering the impact of COVID on every aspect of economic activity, from the movement of the people or the movement of goods and other restrictions by both countries around the world to fight the disease. But we have, as you know, just received the visit of senior leaders from BP, and the message they sent to us, and they send time and again, is a commitment of BP to pursue the development of the project and to achieve the target that has been set, which is to start the GTA production by 2023. We have full confidence that this will happen, and we have full confidence that the project will deliver, and the strong partnership between the BP and government of Mauritania and government of Senegal will continue to develop. So, thank you.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. I have another good question also. What is in your eyes? What is your hope for the role of local businesses in industry? And is there any approach you prefer to see? And the other question is also regarding Birala gas. They want to know when will that Birala gas project will take off.
Yes, as I said in the introduction earlier, the development partnership with the local business is extremely important for us. But we have to do and to proceed following a good and strong, solid methodological approach. This is why we have launched a study understand what is the situation now of the local private sector that is or could be or may be involved in the gas and oil sector. It's a quick assessment of the situation of the capacities, and based on that study, we'll develop an action program on how to support those local businesses to benefit from the opportunities. And this may will certainly include specific incentive as well as capacity building interventions to upgrade the capacities of the local business sector. Some of the involved in partnering with British BP in the project, but we still are, I think, far from the objective that we have set. I must also say that British Petroleum itself is committed to support the local content and to associate the local private business. They make regular reporting to the government of Mauritania or where they stand and what the possibilities exist. We have some good achievement, as you know, for the preparation for the project, and in this initial phase, local companies have transported something like and will transport something like 2 million tons. That will be actually the basis for that will be transported over the seas to the place where the project will start. And we are on track, and they have achieved their objective on time. And I think that, as expressed, Petroleum is very satisfied with the level of services that local businesses have provided. But we need to go. We think that with the study and number of governments and legal instruments that the government will be developing, will put in place the framework that will provide the right incentives for the partnership between international companies and national companies.
Yes, sorry, sir. Just regarding the partnership between the foreign company and the local companies, what about the synergy you see in the existing mining and the near growing oil and gas sector, and as well as the Birala gas project, as we said earlier? Sorry for interrupting you.
On the Birala project, as you know, the market and the outlook for the oil and gas market are still not good, and there are a lot of uncertainties on the market, and therefore it's very difficult, at least at this moment, to plan for the development on Birala from assumptions, because simply the outlook is not clear. Again, Birala will be is also in partnership with BP and Cosmos. I think they both are committed as well towards the development of Birala when the conditions permits. But as we speak today, we just don't see clear perspective for the on the perspective of the gas sector, and therefore we can't really commit to a particular date or time for the development of the project. So it's a difficult situation, we recognize that, but I think we see on this eye to eye with BP and Cosmos, and we do hope that at the end of this year, when the COVID situation hopefully will be under control, we'll have clear visibility market side, and then possibly we can talk about a date and a plan of action to develop Birala.
Okay, sir. Thanks for that. You are talking about a plan of action. What about the recent local content consultancy role awarded to an international cabinet regarding this strategy? Can you say some words about it?
Yeah, yeah. This is what I just talked about. I just mentioned earlier that we have this study that will be launched hopefully soon. It will be conducted by an international group of experts that have experience in developing action plans on local content. They will look at both the mining and the oil and gas sector. And as I said, they will first see what is the state of play in the country, what are list the countries and make an inventory of the countries that can play a role or that have capacities or potential to be a partner in the sector. A plan of action to possibly for involving them and possibly upgrading the capacities when it's needed.
Okay, great, very well noted. We have also a very good questions about the government priorities for the revenue generated from oil and gas and mining as well in the extractive industry.
You know, the government is a fund that is a dedicated fund to receive part of the resources benefit generated by the oil and gas exports and to be used in support of investment as well as for the future generation. That fund is in place. It has never received really big contribution so far because, as you know, the project itself was delayed and the only contribution were received for the NDT project. But the tools exist, the mechanism exists, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, Mauritania has also adhered to the Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. And it's definitely, we do believe that transparency is key in the management of the extractive sector, and we are committed to that.
Okay, Your Excellency, I'm very sorry, but I have a very interesting question, yet very detailed one about your plan for the development of wind and solar power in Mauritania.
As I said earlier in the introduction, we are developing a transformative plan for the electricity sector in partnership with a number of resource and development partners, including the European Union, both the Commission itself and its member countries, the African Development Bank, the UN system, UNDP, and others, the World Bank. Will be developing a number of studies. One is a study, an energy strategy, sustainable development energy strategy. Second is a series of studies of the electricity sector, including one that will address rural electrification and the renewable natural resource energy policy and strategy. And all these studies will converge, we hope, towards the end of this year and help us put in place a strategy, a transformative strategy for the electricity sector. So we are confident that with all what we are engaging today as reflections and consultations that we are going with our partners towards the end of this year, we will have indeed both the mobilization and the optimization of the use of all the power resources that the country is endowed with, from gas to solar to the wind. And the strategic objective, as I said earlier, is to achieve a 50% energy mix by 2030. So this will imply a lot of investment in the renewable energy sector and in solar. Already a lot of several are in the field, but I think it's with this action plan that is under preparation and energy strategy that will be launched soon. We'll have answers to all these questions and we'll have a vision for a long-term vision for the energy sector.
Sir, thanks for giving me that opportunity, because a lot of questions are around the plan of the government to introduce any incentives to foreign investors as well as local domestic investors to go into the extractive industry and to encourage this investment. So I have so many questions about that. What are the incentives for local investors, and what are the incentives for foreign investors as well?
Well, as I said, we have an investment code that is among the investment codes that provide the largest incentives, the most attractive incentives to the foreign direct investment. That was the investment code prepared with the World Bank as really a sign of strong priority given to the private investment, as the President of Patron already noted it in his speech. There is today an investment council headed by the President himself, and one of his meetings promote the private investment in the country. So the incentives are there. There are fiscal incentives that are among the best that exist in the African countries. There are also incentives in terms of training, incentives in terms of support to local content. But as I said earlier, the strategy of local content itself is still under development, and we don't want to jump to act that is not built on solid grounds. This is why we want to wait for the results of this study that will be available in the next 6 months to provide that action plan to support the local business.
Can we say that it's going to be inclusive, that all people will be well aware ahead of time and will be able to join and give some very operational ideas?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it will be conducted in a participative way. Consultation will take place with all those that are involved. It's also being developed. It will be developed in partnership with the Patronat of Mauritania. So no, yes, it will be an inclusive process, and will aim really to generate a strong database with the most local industries, and give opportunity to those that have the skills, qualification, and the competencies to play a role in the sector.
By this answer, sir, you just answered so many questions. So thanks again. Allow me to deeply thank you for your time, for the clarity of your speech, and also to allow us to see how available you are to bring on foreign investors as well as interesting local competencies in developing this high potential market, which is our country, Mauritania. We are very happy to have you on board. Maybe we have almost 10 minutes left. Maybe I give the floor to MBBC, Roger or Matthew, maybe to raise 1 or 2 questions or say some closing remarks, and then I'm gonna get back and our partners.
Well, thank you very much, Bokar. You've already asked the question that I posed on the chat box, so I feel that His Excellency the Minister has answered a very wide range of questions. So at this point, I think we should leave it at that. But may I say, on behalf of the MBBC, a very warm thank you to our distinguished panel of speakers. His Excellency the Minister, obviously, His Excellency the British Ambassador, and also the President of the Patronat. I think the very fact that such distinguished panelists are prepared to come and spend some time with a business audience says a lot in itself about their commitment to bilateral trade and investment. I think all of the folks that have joined this webinar today will have learnt a lot. So I thank our speakers for that. Again, on behalf of the MBBC, let me thank you, Bokar, and our friends and colleagues at Invest in Africa. We do enjoy a very warm relationship with you and partner with you on a series of events. Thank you very much indeed for your efforts. It's always a pleasure to do business with you. You know, our activities, Invest in Africa and the Mauritania British Business Council, are different, but fundamentally we have a shared objective, and that is to upskill companies from both our countries and to promote bilateral trade and investment. And an event like this is a great way to do it. Last but not least, I should thank everybody who's participated. We had well over 100 people participating in this. Great to see such interest in Mauritania. The Minister has made very clear the significant development potential that the country offers as a partnership between UK and Mauritanian companies and entities. And it's up for all of us to take those opportunities further and see how we can build trade and investment. I'll finish by with a plug for the Mauritania British Business Council, as my fellow director Matthew said at the start. If you're interested in what we do, look at our website mbbc.uk, or you can find us on social media. But thanks again, and back to you, Bokar.
I hope you guys can hear me. I just wanted to say a big thanks to the patron UNPM, especially to Claude Lamotte and the President Zain El Abidine. I don't forget at all the Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Agriculture of Mauritania, the General Secretary, Mr. Wan, the President, Mr. Elia, as well as Mr. Waled. I don't forget also Khadi Yahya, who are all very committed to that success first joint webinar with MBBC. And His Majesty Ambassador Sir Simon Boyden. He was just incredible in his support to our very long journey. Your Excellency, dear Minister Saleh, it was such a pleasure to have you on board. I know that you have so many things on your plate, on the plate of the government, and you have your strategy. You are committed to help improve and sustain our development in Mauritania, all those in the align with the SDGs goals. We have also so many donors here. I think of GIZ, World Bank, IFC, all those people, they want to commit, and I'm sure that under your leadership, the leadership of the Prime Minister, and as well as His Excellency the President of the Republic, we are very confident that we're going to achieve something meaningfully here in Mauritania. We have a lot of potential, we have a lot of possibilities, we have a lot of people interested. So allow me to again say thank you to our more than 150 attendees and more than 450 registrations. So we're going to share with all of them the videos in English, in French, in Arabic as well, because we are very inclusive and we want people to together. And Invest in Africa can be a very operational kingpin to that success. We are a junior delivery partner. It's the credit of the patronage, the Chamber of Commerce, or the Ministry of the Government of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. So again, thank you, all of you. I'm happy that we just make our time. We have 10 minutes left, and I think that I only can end up by saying again, thank you, and I wish all the best, all the success to the Minister Saleh, and I'm sure that under his leadership and in the government as a broad range, we can change so many things here. Thanks again to our partner in Mauritania. I think of BP and the other one. Dear Minister, feel free. You have the floor. You can do the closing remarks, and we are all here to hear what you have to say.
Thank you so much, Bokar, and thank you much to colleagues from MBBC, and thanks to everyone for their participation in this meeting today. So it's the first interaction. I hope we'll have other opportunities to go maybe deeper into some of the questions. You are all welcome to come to Mauritania, those who do not know the country. And again, just to express our full commitment to move forward and to move ahead with the strategy I outlined to you. Some of those documents will be available later in the year. We'll share them with all of you. There are huge opportunities for investment for the UK and from the other countries in Mauritania. We believe in the importance of private, direct foreign direct investment. So the case has been made clearly with the impact it has had in many of the developing countries. It's a shortcut in terms of development. It can make a difference. It's not only about bringing money, but it's more importantly bringing capital knowledge that is lacking so much in our countries. We think we can have strong and big win-wins because with the private investors, private companies, in the oil, and when I talk about oil, gas, mining, I talk about the whole of the value chain, not only the core business. So thank you all again for your attention, and thanks to MBBC and to Invest Africa for offering this opportunity. All the best. Bye.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, and looking forward to some next event that we will be able to jointly organize and set up. I hear you very well, Mr. Minister. I'm very happy for that. So it's very promising for us for our journey in Mauritania. Thanks again. Thanks everybody, and see you very soon on our next webinar, event, call, workshop in Mauritania and throughout the world. Thanks a lot very much. Bye-bye.